My last question for you, because you've been so gracious with your time and we really appreciate it. This is from Anoa Changa. She's a co-host
Okay.
with me. She wants to know,
Oh,
um, how do we build an agency to engage Black progressives to addressing pressing issues? Our participation in these political organizations is an afterthought or a response to pressure. So, from a Black progressive perspective, how do we fix being an afterthought?
well, I don't know. We are an afterthought, right? I mean that's a part of the issue here. I mean, like this is a conversation I had a lot of people during the Sanders campaign. If I'm hearing the spirit of the question properly,
Hmm.
and if I'm not, you can correct me. But there was nothing in the Sanders campaign, or that there was nothing in the Sanders agenda that was not an issue of concern for Black Americans, and even disproportionately for Black Americans, right?
Hmm.
And so in that sense, I mean, I think, I'd suggest taking a look at the freedom budget that A. Philip Randolph and Rustin and others
Hmm.
created in the mid '60s, and the ways that they talked about it. Because I'm writing some stuff about Black Power now that's partly in the spirit of a self-criticism, but it's like there's a way that our politics, Black so-called progressives politics, got twisted from the mid '60s forward, and it got sort of as it became more and more remote from any popular activism, got worse and worse in this way. That that for an issue to count as being pertinent to Black people, like it had to have like a special Black bell and whistle on it, right?
Yeah.
But the minimum wage is an issue. A $15 an hour minimum wage is a Black issue. Single payer health care is a Black issue. Free public higher education is a Black issue. The right to belong to a union
Yeah.
is a Black issue. And all down the line. At some point, I'd like to see a broader fight for decommodified housing, right? Which would certainly be a Black issue.
Well.
So the way not to be an afterthought is to become engaged in those movements and try to build them on the broad terms that can make them the most effective. I'm going back to '99 in the mobilization for the Seattle stuff. I was kind of struck to see complaints coming from young black activists and Latino activists and gay activists and whatever, that the movement wasn't addressing the concerns of their designated constituencies, right? And I've been around for a long time, right? I was around for the poverty programs. I was around for all the Black Power hustle. So
Mm.
maybe it was a little cynical for me to think this, but it always seemed to me that demand was a demand that the person making the demand be put in the leadership of whatever the movement was, as the spokesperson for the constituency that wasn't being
Right.
acknowledged.
Right.
And my response was always kind of blunt, and to say, look, if there's somebody that you think isn't at the table that ought to be here, some constituency, and you know who they are, then your contribution is to go out and mobilize them and bring them in, right? And try to carry the message about why it would be important, right?
Right.
Why combating the WTO
Hmm.
would be important for Black people, Latinos, Asian Americans, women, whatever, right? So I think, and I'm not trying to be contentious, and I understand that I may have misheard in a tendentious way what the question is, but without what may appear to be a little leitmotif of exasperation, I think the answer is the answer that I gave.
Awesome. Awesome. And yeah, I may have delivered the question wrong, but you could have an opportunity if you have time in your schedule to work that question out with my homegirl Anoa. She's
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
that's my
love to.
sister, and she does a show called The Way with Anoa, and she does it on my channel, my network. So, and I said this before on the last time. She was the one who brought your name to the table and said we wanted to get you on
Oh
one of
yeah,
our shows. So I still owe her one. So I'll email you and let you see if we can coordinate your schedule to be on her show next time.
yep, I'd love to do it. And so when is this going to be available for?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no, it will be ready. It'll be the entire episode will be ready in about 45 minutes after the show is over, and
okay.
individual clips will be available tomorrow. I'll make sure I send you as many links as I can send you. So Professor Reed,
Great.
listen, the audience thanks you. Even some of the people who had questions or frustrations, they want to thank you so
Mhm.
much for taking out the time, and thank you for taking
Thank
questions.
them too. Yeah.
Awesome. We want to thank you again, and
And
look
thank you. And like I said, I'll be happy to be on whenever you want.
awesome, and I appreciate that.